All right, season one wild card preview. We got Illinois fighting Illini, my Illinois, led by myself, Christopher World, and assistant coach Ed Smalls. 5-5 on the season, 3-2 at home. So played a little bit better at home, but overall kind of up and down this season. Three early losses, got swept by Texas, dropped one to Purdue, and then big 4-game winning streak, and then kind of into the season. A little bit of a rough note there, losing 10-0 to Houston, getting by Arizona State, and losing to Arizona State, who they end up playing here. The Sun Devils, they had a really rough start. They 13-10 lost to Houston, 10-3 lost to Houston. Made a coaching change. Sphinx Dolphin out the Fanny in, and he's kind of turned this team around a little bit. They're I think 3-5 since he took over. A lot of close losses. Three of their 5 losses with him are by 1 run. So he's got this team competing. But they're 3-7. They are 1-4 at home. They lost 7-6 at Illinois. So we'll kind of see on the road that they're struggling a little bit. But they're led by the new DJ and Trill. So Trill's been a big acquisition this year, and you can kind of see here that they played each other 6-7, the 7-6 loss. I pitched that one, 9 strikeouts in that game, and Sphinx Dolphin he's had a rough season. We'll kind of get into that. The other game, Jamian Sarge did pitch. Jamian opened up not very well. He gave up 6 runs. I know Kaz took over. It was a little bit better once Kaz got into pitch, but 7-3 win for Arizona State, and that could be big going to the playoffs. Confidence boosters like that, it really tells them, hey, we can play with these guys. It's going to get people to show up, help the activity there. And then Trill, again, big acquisition. He got the win. Into the pitching staff, both teams. These are kind of the two main rotations I think going into the playoffs. Jones Suss expected to be the wildcard starter. It's not going to be Christopher World. It's going to be Jones Suss. He's 2-0 on the season. Only 8 innings pitched, but he's only given up 1 run in those 8 innings. It was a game against Purdue and then a game against Kansas. So I don't believe it was I believe it was a fairly depleted Purdue staff. Let me take a look. Well, I mean, Bobber, Goon, Ralliant, they were all there, so he held them in check pretty well. I'd have to say 4 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 run. So he had I think a no hitter through 3, and then in the 4th, the 4th inning is kind of when they finally broke through with the first hit and first run. So he's put together some good innings. He's looked good so far. So he's expected to be the starter. 2.5 Ks for 5, so two innings a game, and no home runs given up. 8 innings, no home runs given up. So keeping the ball in the park so far, and he's got a really good average distance against. And this is a good stat. I think a better stat for pitchers than for hitters to look at, but 166 studs is the average distance, where the league average is 205. I'm always yawning in the room, huh? Now Christopher World, obviously me. 3-2 on the season, so 5 starts, 3-2, kind of up and down. 10 home runs allowed leads the league. Definitely have had trouble keeping the ball in the park, but certainly a high risk high reward pitcher. The ERA was really good until the last game against Arizona State. Really, that last inning. I mean, I think it was sub 3 going in that last inning against Arizona State, and then kind of a blow up inning there. But over a strikeout an inning. Let's see, 23 2/3 innings, 26 strikeouts. So over a strikeout an inning. Most strikeouts in the league. Not most Ks per 5 in the league. That's going to go to Sphinx Dolphin, who we'll get into in a sec. But kind of a tale of 2 stories there. Low contact for Alex, really weak contact, but not a lot of strikeouts. And then for Chris, giving up kind of the contact, heavier contact, but it's happening a lot less. So the home runs, they don't damage you as much because you don't have people on base. So we'll kind of see there. But Jones-Dust expected to make the start. Maybe we see Christopher rolled out of the bullpen. We'll kind of see what goes on there, probably depending on how the game goes. Arizona State. I mean, not only did Stefani kind of saved the season, but honestly, Schrill has been huge for them. He's been their only source of pitching. 3-1 on the season, so 3 wins, and all 3 of them were with Schrill on the mound. 2.5 ERA. Not a huge strikeouts guy. Again, 6 home runs. So the advanced stats don't love Schrill in that sense, I wouldn't say. But I mean, his average distance is solid. It's just he's given up some home runs, but for the most part, he's given up a lot of weak contact. I think we saw him pitch against Texas. That game, he pitched really well. Arizona State obviously ended up falling, but I'm going to see if I can find that game. So, he pitched, that game, 5 innings, 8 runs, but only 3 were earned. So, I think he gave up quite a bit on some, due to some errors there. So, a little bit of a rough game there, but not too bad. But he was able to get Dino, ground out a few times. Kept Peter in check, kept Wright in check. Cho had a nice game there. So able to keep some of the big hitters there in check. So we'll kind of see. Looks like he's done a solid job when needed. Sphinx, as an Illinois player, I'd love to see Sphinx on the mound. Much more than I. Very high risk, high reward. I mean, he's given up 9 home runs, ERA over 8 now. His Ks per 5 he is 6.16. I mean, more than a strikeout in an inning, nearly a strikeout and a half an inning. But man, he's looked really bad, and this is kind of what we saw in EBL as well. Offensively, so Kaz for Illinois, Offensive Player of the Year candidate. I don't think he'll win it, but he's been top, second in OPS, just fine behind Peter. Second in home runs with 5 behind Peter. His batting average here is top 6. And then against ASU, I mean, he's really put it on them. 4 for 7 with a couple of home runs against ASU. Star Destroyer, kind of not really seen the power we've seen in the past with him. He's batting .500 but with no home runs. 9 for 18 with no home runs. So we'll see if the power comes back at all, but it's not affecting his results. His average distance is pretty low, but he's still putting the ball in play there, getting on base. So, and he's 3 for 4 versus ASU. So again, good numbers versus the Sun Devils. And then It Smalls. Activity was kind of rough in the first half of the season, but in the second half, he's played all 5 games. So he's made 5 out of 5 games. Home run, a .588 average, and honestly, if we take out the first half game, his 5 games in the second half of the season, he's even better. 9 for 14, a double, a couple doubles, a home run, 7 runs scored. I mean, he's just been one of the best players in the league in the second half. So, as for the Arizona State Sun Devils, so they've played better as of late, but a big reason for a lot of their wins, it comes from pitching with basically Schrill on the mound. They don't have a ton of good offensive threats here. They've got E-Cine. She's obviously, E-Cine's going to E-Cine. She's got 3 home runs, leads the team. I think that leads the team, right? Yeah, 3 home runs leads the team, .452 average. 3 for 6 with the home run versus Illinois. So, good, solid numbers against the Illini. I want to try to find. So Alexander, he got traded from. Who did he get traded from? Let's find this. Is he in? I don't know his Discord. I was trying to find him in transactions, but I know he got traded. 3 home runs on the season. Although I want to say he had a kind of a better first half. Yeah, he's not done much in the second half of the season here, so we'll see if he starts to show up. But it's been a little bit rough as of late. But let's see, Barstar. So big acquisition late season. They were making a playoff push. Weren't sure if they were going to make it, so they made the move for Bars, and he's been solid for them. He's batted .500 this season. Kind of a singles merchant. So the OPS plus is down and 1 for 2 against Illinois. But I will say that Illinois, these three, they have really solid numbers against Shrill. And so if you're Shrill, it's a little bit worrisome for Arizona State. Arizona State, not the best numbers versus Illinois, but they don't really have the best numbers versus anyone else. So we'll see how they do. I'm excited for this matchup. 1-game matchup. Looking like we're going to be slated for Monday. We'll see what ends up happening, but we're looking like Monday. If you ask me, you got to say Illinois. You got to take Illinois. Not just come on the team, but better record. 1-4 on the road. Arizona State just does not do well on the road. I think better pitching. If you need to go for low contact, you got Jones. If you need to go for strikeouts, you got Christopher World. So we'll see how it goes. But I got Illinois taking this one and heading to Austin to face the Texas.